What's happening, everyone? JayShockblast here, and today we're doing something a little different. I have a special guest, Dustin Taylor, aka Dtown. He has been a pro Magic player. Would you say that?
On and off pro, yeah.
Yeah. So Dustin and I met when we worked together for Bose. I don't know if you care if anybody knows that you work there.
No, not
I don't. So and we've known each other quite a few years now, and I've always been impressed. He's one of the best Magic the Gathering players I've ever seen, and he's actually gone to many pro tournaments. I know as far away as Portugal, right?
Went to Spain, yeah. I went to Spain for 2 weeks. Yep.
That's crazy. The whole Magic the Gathering scene is kind of new to me. I've played some of the like Xbox games and stuff like that, and I've even played a card game or two. I once infamously gave Phage Haste.
Ooh,
And
I like that. That's
so
nice.
I think that was a pretty cool move for somebody that just a little bit knows about Magic. But you've been playing for about 15 years, you said?
Yeah, roughly.
So, and during that time, like I'm amazed by this. Like this is all new to me. But you've been playing at a highly competitive, money-making level.
Yeah.
What brought you there, and what made you start playing Magic the Gathering?
I was it's really interesting. I just happened to find the game when I was in middle school with some buddies, like I'm sure everybody else does in their lunch or whatever. And then their local gaming store opened down the street from me. I started playing there. And it used to be called the Junior Super Series when you were I was probably 14 or whatever. And you would play, and you have to be 15 and under, 16 and under. And they wouldn't give you cash for winning, but they would give you college scholarship money, which would go towards, your college later on down the road. So I started with that, and then from there, as I got older, I took a couple breaks in high school and college, and then I actually went to the actual pro scene, flew to Hawaii for a pro tour that I won.
That's awesome.
Won another pro tour that I went when I went to Madrid for a couple weeks. I have a StarCityGames.com win, which is a big local. They're more known for the Northeast tournaments, but I have a victory in one of those, which is pretty a very famous scene. It's not necessarily the pro scene, like the actual Hasbro Pro Tour, but they're kind of a semi-pro league.
That's awesome. So it's crazy to me. You're one of the better players, not just in the Northeast, but you've won world tournaments. The Hawaii one, would you say it's a national or a world?
Yeah, it's 4 pro tours a year in the old system. We'll call it the old system because we'll reference the new system, I'm sure, at some point. So the old system was there's 4 pro tours a year. You have to play a qualifier, which is hundreds of people to qualify for them. If you win, they fly you. And then there's a point system and things like that in levels. I wouldn't say I was one of the top 100 or anything like that in the world, but probably the top couple thousand. I was definitely one of the better players, I think, and definitely in the Northeast for sure for a long period of time. But I definitely could hold my weight, I think, at least in North America. I was definitely, consider myself one of the higher players.
So now you're getting involved with Twitch. You've got your Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Dtown.
Yep, Dtown would be my own personal one that I'll be on from now and again. I have a team of 2 guys that I'm lucky I get to work with that I've known for, more than half my life. And we're going to be, Death of Hope _arena, which is where we're going to be streaming most of the time. We'll switch off between me or Devin or Mitch, or there'll be 2 of us on at the same time, which is really exciting to have multiple of us on at the same time.
So tell me about Devin and Mitch real quick.
Yeah, Devin's probably been playing as long as I have. Devin actually has more pro tours than I do. He's gone as far as I think he went to Germany. He's been to some pretty cool places too in Europe. Mitch probably has the least amount of pro tour experience than all of us, but he has the most knowledge definitely of the actual Twitch things. He's still been playing with us for a long time, so he's definitely at least proficient. But we're excited to have him. He brings a lot to us that we need in order for this to work.
Now, it seems obvious that you're going to be playing Magic the Gathering Arena,
yes,
which is their new online card-based game and everything. So it seems like they're going really heavy into this as $1 million tournament. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, so they announced on ESPN, which is a pretty big deal to get an ESPN announcement,
right?
That they're spending $10 million on their tabletop and their Magic the Gathering Arena platform, which is a lot, obviously, for 8 Pro Tours or so. They're not going to be called Mythic Championships. They won't be called Pro Tours anymore. So you either qualify for these through normal tabletop settings, as far as we know, or through Arena. They have a old platform instead of Arena, which was Magic the Gathering Online, which I didn't use a lot. You kind of had to use it because it's the only online platform, but it was out of date. The platform didn't run very well. It wasn't very appealing to the eye like Arena is. So now that they've updated it, And now that there's higher stakes and they're making it an esport, now's a great time it's a really exciting time for Magic to grow. The tabletop game isn't going to go anywhere. It's not going to decrease or anything in terms of value, but Arena is definitely getting a big boost.
So how does Arena work? And I haven't really, honestly, I was in the beta, but I never got to actually play it. How does it work as far as cards go? Is it kind of like you buy packs of cards online, or do your own personal cards translate into the game? Is there anything?
Yeah, so you start off. So let's say you do like an initial investment, right?
Yeah.
You'll start with like, we'll say $20. It's honestly pretty cheap to get a lot of cards. It's only standard, so which is like less than 6 sets at the moment. You can either buy gems, which is like the monetary value thing,
Right.
and use those gems to buy packs, or you can do drafts and accrue cards that way. They give you basically like pre-con decks essentially as you do more quests and stuff. Like, you know, maybe the quest is like play 10 green spells or whatever. And there's daily quests that you can do.
Right.
And then you accrue cards that way. Like, I've probably invested maybe like $100, nothing even crazy, and I've just been grinding, so to speak. And I probably have like 25% of standard cards, and if I really wanted to like just put $100 in and buy a bunch of packs, I probably would have the rest.
Nice.
So it's a pretty like, yeah, it's a pretty cheap initial buy-in, which is also like the reason we're doing it now is like, why wait until like they announce the tournaments and then you have to get stuff? Like, we're grinding now to have a collection. That way we're prepared for when, you know, they announce the tournament series to qualify for these, like, Arena Pro Tours.
Okay, that makes sense. So that was, I think, one of the things that, I don't know, I don't want to say frustrated me, like confused me, because you have Magic the Gathering, this actual set-based game where you've been buying cards for years and years and years, and you've got people like yourself that's very familiar with how all the cards work, and you've probably done lots of deck building over your time, and you probably have like some go-to deck that you want to do. Now you're jumping into a brand new, you know, PC-based set, and you have to kind of start over. Is that like a hurdle for you, or are you just so familiar with everything that you can just make anything work?
Well, luckily the sets are the same. So, like, the sets that are in standard currently, like tabletop, converted to Arena. So it's not like they're different sets. So, like, so that's obviously, like, the one thing that is different is there's a lot more best of one. So, like, let's say we go to, like, a tabletop tournament and whatever.
Right.
You play best of 3, right? So you play game 1, and then you play 2 sideboarded games. On Arena, it's a lot more best of 1, and I guess that's where the deck building is different, because I've been playing best of 3 since I was 13.
Right.
You develop your decks to have a sideboard, which is basically like your bench. Think of it from like a sports standpoint.
Right.
And you substitute things in and out in between games. Now you don't have that if you're playing best of 1. So whatever you kind of bring to the table, so to speak, is what you have. And that's an avenue that, in terms of deck building, I'm getting used to still. I'm much more used to having like a plan, a cohesion plan with my main deck and my sideboard. So that's, I guess, an avenue that I'm still trying to get over. But, I mean, you know, aggressive strategies kind of do what they do, right? And control strategies do what they do. They have a very specific plan in mind. This is my goal. This is how I'm going to do it. And some of the things don't really sway between best of 1s and 3s. So the principles still stay the same.
So that's a good segue into what was kind of like percolating in my mind. How would you describe, like, to use a first-person shooter reference, I describe my gameplay style when I'm playing Battlefield as John freaking Rambo. I kick the door in and just hold the trigger down, and, like, I'm here, come get me. So, like, I'm very aggressive, and I'm very impatient a lot of times when I play. So, like, how would you describe your gameplay style? Are you, like, more cerebral, or are you pretty, like, offensive, or how would you do it?
Devin's definitely very aggressive.
Yeah.
If there's a range from like least to most, Devin's definitely the most aggressive. I'm probably a little less, but a little bit more on the aggressive side for sure. I like to think that I'm well-rounded enough to play these control decks if they're the right choice. Because kind of like rock, paper, scissors, right? Like, there's a time and a place to play control decks, and there's a time and a place to play other decks. And based on like where the metagame is and where things lie is maybe what you should be doing. And that's, I guess, some of the strategy behind it is picking the right deck for the right tournament at the right time gives you an edge. So I like to think I'm well-rounded enough to make the right selection. But if I got to just choose, like, I like combat, you know, if possible.
I gotcha. Now, is there like, what's your favorite? Like, is there a favorite card that you have that you just love? You have to have in your deck like every time.
I'm a huge fan of Llanowar Elf. It's a 1-green 1/1 that taps for a green. Some of my more infamous wins, I have Llanowar Elf in my deck, which is usually what your deck's based around. It's based around getting a mana advantage early, being able to play more expensive cards quicker than your opponent to get ahead, usually for a more aggressive strategy or ramp strategy. So usually that's kind of something I've been known for.
Gotcha. Okay. And is there like a certain like it's all elemental based, right? The different manas.
Yep. So
is there a certain element that you prefer?
I guess like that would circle back still like to green or red. Those are like some of the more aggressive ones. Red's the most aggressive of the five
Makes sense.
colors. Right, exactly. They made it really simple on us. So yeah, red's probably the most aggressive. So red or green, I guess, would lean to like the more aggressive strategies. Blue is probably the more controlling strategy. And black and white are kind of in the middle, I guess, if you had to like paraphrase it.
Now, when you're doing these big tournaments, I'm assuming it's a lot of the same faces that you normally see, at least up here.
Yeah, definitely in the New England scene. Definitely like it's a very.
Do you base I would imagine you base your set on who you're playing as best you can, or do you have like separate decks like at all times, or
you bring one deck to the tournament? So like if I go to a tabletop tournament, I have one this weekend. Or next weekend, a huge one that's at the DCU Center. For those who don't know, like that's in Worcester, which is obviously where we're in Worcester County. And you bring one deck, and obviously like that's the deck you play the whole tournament.
Gotcha.
But like obviously like if I was playing against you, for example, and we've been playing together for 5 or 10 years, and I knew like
right.
He has aggressive tendencies, I maybe would lean that way, but nothing huge, because you still kind of have to like stick to your guns, so to speak. You don't want to get like. You don't like too many assumptions, because then if they're wrong, then you get bit really hard for it. But you can make some. You definitely can make some educated guesses.
Interesting. Now, let's see. So, you've got this event coming up, the DCU Center in Worcester, Mass. Is this like one of their big Northeast ones? Because the DCU Center is pretty big.
Yeah. So Star City Games, we were kind of alluding to earlier. I have one win, like another 8 or so top 8s, and that's like the biggest card retailer essentially in North America, and they have a tournament series themselves, which is like a pretty big deal that they have. They have like their own pro series, they have their own like world's championship essentially, which they call the Players Championship. So they have a tournament in Worcester, and that's next weekend. It's 2 days. First place I think is, I forget, maybe like $5,000 or so. So and then yeah, it's like X and 2, like 6 and 2 or better makes day 2. You play Swiss of like 15 rounds in total, and then cut the top 8, and then single elimination from there.
Cool. So let's talk about the channel. You've got Dtown, we've got Death of Hope _ Arena, and I'll have both of these linked in the description below. What are you basically, when you stream, you're basically just going to be streaming scrims, or are you just going to be streaming like live head-to-head while you're playing Arena?
Yep, we're just going to be live, and it's going to be all head-to-head. Sometimes it'll be drafts, which is like there's 3 packs, you open a pack, you select a card, you essentially pass the pack to the next person, receive a pack, take a card, and then you build a deck out of those cards. So that'll be some of the things we do. We'll also be doing Constructed as well, of course. The new set comes out on the 17th, which is exciting. It's actually sooner than the physical release of it. So we'll get access to the new cards, be able to build new decks and new strategies, and get to test those, which is really cool before kind of like the public gets their hands on it, so to speak.
Perfect. Now, what schedule-wise, because obviously people are all over the world, and you'll be amazed when you start doing this where people will watch you from. Like last night I was streaming, and I had people in the UK, and they're like, oh, it's 3 a.m, but I'm staying up watching you. Like, what type of schedule, East Coast time obviously, because that's where we're based, like, what do you think you see the channel doing, like when times and stuff?
Yeah, we're trying to cover it. The best thing about it too is the 3 of us just naturally have 3 different schedules with work and stuff. So I'm going to be on in the morning. I'm going to be on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday morning, roughly 8 to 12. I'll be on Tuesday. Tuesday will probably be like all 3 of us actually. Devin is on Monday through Friday from 6 to 10, so prime time East Coast time. And Mitch is actually going to be on from like 10, 11 till like 1 in the morning. He's just one of those night guys.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm not going to be up early in the morning, but I'll stay up late. And that's just kind of more what fits his schedule. So it's nice that we cover, one of the things that's really nice about this is that we cover a long span of time, schedule-wise, which is why we thought we could do this. We have a lot of different hours. We cover a lot of base of the week. We also have, different personalities and different things to bring. And I think it's exciting. It's exciting that we can do that. A lot of people can't, stream 50 hours a week.
For sure.
And we can with the 3 of us together, and sometimes there'll be more than one of us on at the same time, which is something that Magic doesn't have a lot of. Like if you hop on now, you'll watch a pro player, but it's just him, and it's only him for, maybe 4 hours a day or 5 hours a day, if even that. You can hop on and hopefully watch one of us, and you can maybe catch us anytime.
Perfect. So all the links will be in the description. I think it's really awesome to listen to you guys. I've been around you guys when you talk Magic. You and our friend, you have a mutual friend, Mark, from Death of Hope, and like just listening to you guys talk about it. I've never been a Magic guy, but I've watched everybody play, and I rather watch. Like, it's one of those games I feel like it's fun to watch because like in your head you can formulate what you would do, but you can watch somebody else like and as their decisions are made and stuff like that. You'll obviously be offering advice and strats and stuff like that for anybody in the comments. I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, my goal I think is to be as informative as I can while still like showing my passion. Like I still want to improve, and that's my goal. Like I couldn't do this if my goal wasn't to be as good as I can be. Like that's my goal personally. Like as much as I want the stream to succeed and I want my friends to succeed, like every day I want to get better, and it's hard when you've been playing for 15 years to find edges, like little edges, but I'm trying my best, and I think this is one way that I'll do it, is to be informative. I still want to be entertaining. Like I still want you to enjoy watching me when I'm there. And my passion. I still love this game as much as I did when I was 14, and for some reason when I was 14 I wanted to be the best, and I still do at 29. So that's my goal, and I hope that if people's goal is to get better, I hope they watch. If they just want to learn how to beat their friends in their kitchen, and I hope that they watch too.
Have you guys thought about the possibility of doing like setting up like a camera and just actually playing each other like at a kitchen table?
We haven't. It's definitely something that we could do, which
is
pretty cool. Yeah, no, you know what? That's really neat. Like definitely the avenue of the fact that like the three of us are going to be together is definitely one of the biggest things that we have. Is that like we can just hop on and there'll be multiple of us, so we're like talking to each other, we're interacting with chat. So yeah, I mean there could be something that we could do tabletop wise if that's something that people want to see. Like that's nothing crazy that we couldn't set up. So yeah. Definitely, absolutely,
for sure. Well, we're gonna shake hands because I feel like that's what you do at the end of an interview, even though none of you guys can see us. Thank you to Dustin, and like I said, Dtown on Twitch and Death of Hope _arena on Twitch. I will certainly be following you guys. I'm gonna hopefully be involved in the whole thing, and I don't know if you're gonna watch my gameplay of Magic ever, but right now through this video you've been watching Dustin, and hopefully he won because we're gonna record it after. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this, and definitely check out Dustin, Devin, and Mitch. Cool. We'll see you guys.
Thank you.
Anything you want to say at the end?
No, I mean, just thank you for the opportunity to do this. I obviously appreciate it.
Cool. All right, we out.